Cough syrup medicine imported from India was the cause of kidney failure that killed as many as 60 children in West African nation of Gambia last year. Now, the report was submitted to the Gambian Health Ministry earlier, has not been made public, but Bloomberg says it has seen the report. Now, although Indian authorities continue to deny the products were contaminated, the government this week imposed a new regulation that requires cough syrup to be tested by a government lab before it can be exported abroad. News is also coming in from the US at this point in time, where an Indian manufacturer of eye drops has been linked to 3 deaths and serious infections. The eye drops were made by Indian firm Global Pharma. The firm recalled the drops in February after a recommendation from the FDA. Serious allegations there on at least 2 pharmaceutical companies at this point in time. Now, this is a report, remember, that has not been made public. This is a Bloomberg report. Bloomberg says that it has seen the Gambian Health Ministry's internal report, which will be hopefully be made public for public consumption later. But almost 60 children died in the West African nation of Gambia last year owing to a dangerously contaminated cough syrup. My colleagues are joining me at this point in time. In fact, my colleague is here. Jeelani, I want to come to you directly. This is an important discussion. You've been tracking the developments in the pharmaceutical space, especially with respect to the cough syrup. What exactly has happened so far? Run us through the timeline.
Okay, thank you, Shweta. So, at the core of this issue is these 2 countries which have flagged Indian made cough syrups. One is Gambia, where you rightly said 60-65 kids died, and then is Uzbekistan, where 15-20 kids died. In both the cases, the allegation is that these cough syrups were exported from India, manufactured in India and exported then used there. So, what the government has done now, so there have been responses from the government after these 2 incidents, but now what the government has done, it has imposed another set of regulatory mechanism for these drugs that are exported from India. So, every drug that has every cough syrup that has to be.
In fact, Jeelani, I will come to that. I will come to the new regulation.
Okay.
I want to first understand the core of the crux of the issue. And so, from what you just said, 60-65 children died in Gambia and Uzbekistan owing to one single pharma company?
Yeah, that is Made in Pharma, which is in Noida, and apparently that pharma company has been shut now. And there was another episode wherein 16 kids died in Uzbekistan. That company was based somewhere in Haryana. So, these are not
2 separate companies,
but
both making cough syrups.
Cough syrups, and 2 separate cases, 2 separate countries. So, a bit of background here, India is often referred to as pharmacy of the world, and the selling point of India is the huge volumes that we manufacture, and another point is the cost effective. Drugs are manufactured cheaper in India than in any other country, and these drugs are exported. We have about $40 to $45 billion export industry of drugs, and these 2 drugs go to countries in Africa and also to developed nations like USA and other countries in Europe. So, there are 2 kinds of manufacturing that happens. One is the drug that goes to US and Europe. So, these are state of the art companies, these are highly regulated companies, and one good thing about these companies is that inspectors come from US and Europe. They first inspect the drugs and then they are exported to US and Europe. In the another set of companies or what do you say, these factories, so these cater to domestic requirements and also to African nations like Gambia and Uzbekistan or other countries which are not developed countries. So, that is where the problem lies. So, it all started, we remember in 2008 there was this huge controversy over Rembaxi. So, India, considering the fact that it exports around $40-45 billion drugs, there have been concerns over quality since then, and this episode that happened over the past 2-3 months has obviously come with a beating for the image of India as pharmacy of the world. And I think as pharmacy of the world, it's our responsibility to ensure that quality is not compromised.
Okay. Something interesting you mentioned there, you said if every time a drug is exported to US, there are proper quality checks, but interesting story coming in there also from US attributing a eye drop which has been made in Chennai, which has caused deaths 3 deaths, serious eye infections in more than 10 people in the US. We also have Dr. J.A. Jayalal, former national president of IMA, joining us at this point in time. Dr. Jayalal, thanks very much for taking time out. I want to ask you, what do you make of these news reports that are coming in from US at this point in time before I go to what happened in Gambia? This is fresh. This says that an Indian manufacturer manufacturing in Chennai in a plant goes by the name of Global Pharma is responsible or has been linked to 3 deaths and serious infections.
Yeah, first of all, it is a real setback for India as it is a pharmacy of the world, and we are exporting nearly $45 million worth of pharmacy drugs. But many times these complaints and these reports which are coming out are not on a full fledged. There is not the full truth of that. Way back in 2008, when the New Delhi bug infection, that is super bug, was put, there was one person from the Swedish, he has got a infection from India, and when bacteria was identified, they immediately, in their fraternity, they given a name, it's a New Delhi virus, New Delhi bacteria. Then many of us raised the questions on that, and slowly that name has been taken, because now for many things there is a linkage is given to Indian origin or Indian production. Even in Gambia, I being the Commonwealth Medical Association secretary also, after the report, we had an investigative report in Gambia. In all these students, I mean, though these are the cough syrup, the cause of death was their dehydration. They were extensively having diarrhea. That diarrheal disease has caused to the death. That was a report which is coming out from their Gambian state. But it has been projected that it is a cough syrup. Yes, our cough syrups, diethyl glycol was the content, it was little excess, and that may be the reason. But 1+1 need not be always true. Second concern for our Indian Medical Association, the government of India always act in a knee-jerk reaction. When something comes, they immediately put a rule. And another thing comes, they put a rule. But they do not make a comprehensive rule, comprehensive way. For this, the reason is we don't have adequate manpower in the system of our drug control infection. Then we don't have a system to where we are going to do. For this company, now the US is talking about this Hydra, the team has come down, they have checked, they have found the doors in the manufacturing unit, the utensils they are used in the manufacturing unit is not clean. This is the report is given by the FDA. They say that when they are doing an inspection, it is not the drug. And so that makes our infrastructure and comprehensive system, we are not able to make. Our appeal is the government should make a comprehensive policy, not making a knee-jerk policies, and to make sure our name is not distorted. And the reports coming from international things has to be taken with a pinch of salt, and we need to do our quite introspection and come out with the actual values on that.
Okay.